Welcome in to Three the Harder Way, aka the three-man Jaylen Weave, aka the best big three since LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh. And we back again with another episode. 3 straight weeks. We're on a 3-game win streak. Shout out to the three of us.
Yes, sir.
Consistency is key, as they say at LBR Media, and we've been consistent. So let's keep it rolling, gentlemen. If you do not know who I am the walking bucket, instant offense. It's your boy Savage. Up here, we got the coach on the sidelines, taking them to school on and off the court. And when I say it's really Sheedy, it's really Sheedy. Sheedy, what up, though?
It's really shitty, man. Sunday, fun day. Get this in your speakers on Monday. Let's roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we also got my guy, your favorite DJ's favorite DJ, the sample man himself, Tev Shakir. What up, too?
What it is, what it ain't. What's good, brothers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today is the day we starting our, I guess, a couple of weeks series where we will be discussing top 10 players going into the next NBA season at their position. So want to kind of provide a bit of a warning, I guess. We're going based on the position that ESPN has listed on their website. And so certain players who you think is a point guard or a shooting guard or a center may or may not be slotted in that particular position. However, if they are as good as they say they are or have shown, they should show up on somebody's list one of these weeks. I at least feel that way. So I just want to go ahead and get that out there before y'all come at one of us and saying we trash for however we made our list. We're going based on ESPN's projection. But before we get into that, we do have a couple of news items that came out. First, of course, y'all know we were doing the weekly Kevin Durant updates because I mean something was going to happen every single week. Early on last week with Kevin Durant, Shams came out and said that the Grizzlies were listed as a kind of like a last ditch effort for Kevin Durant to trade for him. Of course, the Grizzlies ultimately came out and said that they're not trading Jaren, they're not trading Bane. So as Tuke probably would say, you know what that means. They ain't trading for Kevin Durant. And so Kevin Durant eventually came out, not Kevin Durant per se, but the Brooklyn Nets eventually came out in like a unison front with Kevin Durant. Even on the actual picture the Nets had tweeted on their Twitter, it had like the boardroom and the Nets logo. So I'm gonna just read what they had listed. And this is from the GM, Sean Mark. Steve Nash and I, together with Joe Tsai, and I guess his wife, met with Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman in Los Angeles yesterday. That was on August 22nd. We have agreed to move forward with our partnership. We are focusing on basketball with one collective goal in mind: build a lasting franchise to bring a championship to Brooklyn. And again, that picture had the Brooklyn Nets logo and Kevin Durant's boardroom logo as well. So to kind of wrap this up for now, we'll just get some closing comments about the Kevin Durant situation. In my opinion, we'll revisit it again at some point in February or if the season goes in the tank. But gentlemen, the floor is yours. Last thoughts on Kevin Durant trade situation. I think Tu should go first since he's the Kevin Durant connoisseur.
For sure, man. I'm just happy to be finally closing, I guess, this part of the book, this chapter, if you will, because the book's not closed yet. Obviously, you're going to close it for a minute, but I think you do reopen it if Kyrie Irving is traded by mid-season or the trade deadline, either or. But been saying this since day one. Kevin Durant, you signed a 4-year contract, my man. The list that you got of teams that you would have gone to, most of them were the Eastern Conference. If I'm, a competitor, I'm not trading you to another competitor, especially if I got to see you for the next 3 years. So that wipe off most of that. And like you said, and we all agree with the fact that I think the Grizzlies were the last team that could have given the Nets a deal. If you look at the pieces the Grizzlies have, and that the Nets wanted, whether that's draft picks or young players like the Jaren Jacksons, like the Desmond Bain. You got somebody like me, honestly, if you can keep Bain and trade Jaren and get Kevin Durant, I was all for that with 100%. That's just me, period. But that's neither here and there. As far as Kevin Durant go, we finally get to see what the Nets can do. Ben Simmons is planning on coming back as well. And I say, like, if healthy, if everybody comes back top to bottom outside of the Warriors team, this is the best team that Kevin Durant's been on. I think you got to go out there, even if it's just for this last year, prove a year for Kyrie. You got to go out there and ball. So I'm happy we closing this book. Y'all favorite analysts can shut the hell up on ESPN or whatever you watching because it's been annoying. Let's play some basketball, Kevin Durant, and let's let whatever happen. But we do reopen this if Kyrie Irving is traded.
Yeah. Speculations have been, as Duke said, spiraling around, what is this going on? I will say, I think, to request a trade twice in a matter of months says something about how Kevin Durant may feel about the organization. I also just recall that day in regards to you talking about August 22nd of that tweet, I believe, Brother Savage. The only thing that Kevin Durant said on that day, and we know he's one of those guys that talks a lot on social media, was to blame KD because of Patrick Beverly said something. And so to me, I don't think all sides are truly aligned to what to go through with this entire process and 4 years, or even this year, as we see it. However, again, Duke, I don't agree that this might not be the best lineup, so to speak, that Kevin Durant has played with, a la besides the Warriors. But I will say, like I said before, this team with Kevin Durant is a playoff team, and this team without Kevin Durant is not a playoff team. And so I will stick to that. And I will say that, to your point, Savage, I don't think this is over because next season, I think regardless of what happens, the Nets will lose Kyrie. He'll go somewhere else. So the question is going to be, to your point also, to, do we trade Kyrie a little bit earlier to get our pieces? Do we actually get some worth out of it? Or do we hold off and hope that Kyrie wanted to be in Brooklyn, talked about being in Brooklyn, then left to LA, that we'll get some value for him. And speaking of value, just to wrap it all up about the Grizzlies, you have to trade Jaren Jackson Jr. To get a player of the caliber of Kevin Durant. Not because he's like a unicorn, so to speak, but he's making $20+ million. We got to make the money count somewhere. And unfortunately, Desmond Bane's contract ain't there yet, but will be very soon enough. And I would have loved to see Kevin Durant in the Grizzlies jersey, to be honest, with Ja and Desmond Bane. I mean, we've already bringing excitement for the Grizzlies, but, what would it be like to bring on one of the top 3-4 players right now in the game? I know you may disagree, but hey, one thing Durant doesn't do all the time is bring titles to teams, but he may have brought one to Memphis had he got traded. But neither here nor there. He stays in Brooklyn. And I digress until further notice.
Yes, sir. So I don't have nothing to say. I'm just gonna let the season play out for itself. My hope is that every key player on Brooklyn, meaning KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, all play basketball this year, because from a positional perspective, that is, like Tuke said, that is a team that can give people problems. You got Kevin Durant, who's Kevin Durant, Kyrie. If Kyrie is playing basketball, we see what this man does. Like, this man is unstoppable scoring the ball. And Ben Simmons, he's a third option on the team. I'll take that all day long as a third option. So yeah, my quick question for you two, and we can move on to the next topic real quick, is you got KD, you got Ben, you got Kyrie. What does this team look like after the trade deadline? Are all three there? Are 2 out of the 3 there? Is one there? Are they all gone? So what do y'all think this team looks like after the trade deadline in February?
I think because the team is going to be doing so well, and this is the funny part about this whole thing. I think because the team will be doing so well, you won't be able to trade Kyrie Irving. You're going to have to see what you can do, because I feel like if this team was healthy last season, they could have did someday. If Ben Simmons would have played, he would have made an impact. But so now you got a roster reloaded, much better talent. You get Steve Nash's imprint on a full, complete team. You got to worry about Kyrie missing games because of COVID. You get to see what this Nets team is going to be. And it's a championship favorite for a reason. I think we're going to see that. But like I also been saying, I think Kyrie's going to dip.
So do you lose Kyrie for nothing then? Do you just lose him for nothing, knowing he's gone next year?
Because it's gonna suck, but I feel like you got to go for it right now, because this may be your biggest championship window as far as like getting out of the Eastern Conference go. You know what I'm saying? This may be it, because Kyrie's gonna go. Like, you're not gonna replace Kyrie. you can't find a replacement for Kyrie Irving. So I mean, who else you gonna bring in? And then you got to deal with Kevin Durant. You know, we just gonna call a spade a spade. He's gonna be in his feelings a little bit as well, especially if you're playing winning basketball. So you kind of gotta. You gotta hope that Kyrie's re-signed.
So you got them holding on. That's it. You got them holding on throughout the season. What about you, Sheedy?
Yeah, the issue that you keep bringing up is, will Kyrie stay? Right, you're talking about $37 million on the books right now. Looking at next season, people that are available, the list is not favorable to me to acquire talent from free agency and make a championship run with Durant and the Nets. To be honest, I really don't see it. Because we know for sure he's not playing with Russell Westbrook. And and some other players on those lists, I'd rather not even go through them. As I'm going through them, I'm like, I can't believe these players are even mentioned. But anyways, I would say I'm one of those people that thinks you trade them when they're high value a little bit more to get more out of it. And so I would hope it doesn't go back to the trade deadline. And I think that, we miss Kyrie. Well, not we. I don't give a damn about the Nets. But if the trade were to happen, it would have to be Kyrie gone. And then I guess, hopefully Ben maybe got that 3-point shot going for himself. I don't know. But, we brought up a team before that, no, I'll save it.
I'll save it. Okay. I think the Nets will ultimately keep the core together because I think they're going to be winning games. And I think, like Sue said, they're going to be so good that you just got to at least finish it. And then if you're the Nets, hope that they're able to repair whatever happened with that relationship between Kevin Durant and Brooklyn. Kind of similar to when Kobe was demanding the trade from the Lakers to go to Chicago. They ended up trading for Pau Gasol, and then the rest is history, as they say. So we'll wrap this up for now. So we won't have to get into Kevin Durant anymore unless some other shit happens. So we're gonna move on to the next topic. Pat Beverly is a Laker. I told y'all last episode he's black as hell. He ain't gonna make it in Utah, and I'd be damned if that man got traded the same week the episode came out. So Pat Beverly was traded to the Lakers for Stanley Johnson and Taylor Horton Tucker. Real quick thoughts on that for the Lakers.
I think if you're a Lakers fan, as you are, Savage, I think it's kind of.
Oh, I'm not a Lakers fan no more. Wait a minute. No. I'm retired.
You retired?
I'm retired from
that. You old Magic Johnson retiring from the Lakers with himself.
Look, I said, they out of here. No.
Put my guy jersey up next to Pau Gasol when they get up, man. 2 Memphis OGs. But you know what I'm saying? If you're a Lakers fan, it's kind of. I mean, Patrick Beverly has always made the playoffs each of his year. Like, he's never missed the playoffs. And you talk about a team that wants to instill hungriness in an older team. You got the younger players. They just want the Lakers to look hungry and go get it. That's what they were missing was heart. You got a team and a roster now that you're looking at that's formulating that's going to be around it. And you bring in Patrick Beverly. And, he's all heart, regardless of what people say, offensively, whatever, he's heart. And you got to respect somebody. Otherwise, I don't think Brown would have been like, all right, go ahead and trade THT, for Pat Bev. There's also signified that Russ is damn near about gone. I'm expecting, the next couple of weeks to be like, all right, Russ. And I've been saying Indiana is about time. Y'all stop BSing. Go and make the deal happen for Buddy Hield and whoever else, Miles Turner, whoever else y'all want to throw in. Let's make that go ahead and happen so we can move on about our business. But that's how I feel about that. Pat Bev, he will come and help the culture with the Lakers. And, he did almost average, 38% from three, which is what they want Russ to do. Russ help with the offense, but go send the corner and make the three. You want to be able to do that? Sacrifice. You want to be able to do that? Pat Bev will come able to do it and replace you. So that's what I'm at with it.
Yeah, he may not be a top 10 point guard, Patrick Beverly. But I think changes the culture for the Lakers. A very savvy veteran. This team, the Lakers last season, what did they do last season? They went and got everybody 35 and up and tried to run that and see what that got And now, you know, to your point too, you know, we're getting younger players, we're getting hungrier players as well, as a Pat Beverly, who did shine the last time he was in LA, to be honest, did pretty well. Under the tutelage of Tyronn Lue, who, of course, we talk enough about here on this podcast. I would say the only thing that I felt hurt was, and I know it's the money issue, but Stanley Johnson, man, I'm not saying I was high on Stanley Johnson. I'm saying, to your point that you just said too, when you talk about hungry, you talk about motivated, that man didn't care that he was under the bright lights of the purple and gold. Yep. He did his best every single night. He played his role. And on a championship caliber team, he's more like an 8th, 9th man, to be honest. But he was being stuck in the starting 5 position.
One of the best players last year, like top 3 or 4.
Exactly. and to the point of LBR, consistent, yep. Right? And so defensively, a presence that will be missed for the Lakers. And I think everyone had a little bit of the THT sugar, and that wasn't good enough. And that had to go. He just didn't show, even when he got more reps, so to speak, at being a starter or even just playing time, it didn't result in anything, to be honest. As a matter of fact, I would think his stock actually went down as opposed to going up. There was a time when people wanted THT, and now it was like, man, you can have him. But at the end of the day, also want to go back to Coach Ham. He said that he wants Russell Westbrook more off the ball. Now, let's say anything doesn't happen. I'm not saying it won't, but I think it should. But if it's not happening and you have Russell Westbrook being more the cutter, the slasher, the younger OKC Russ without the ball in his hands, the sacrifice that it would take for them to be not only back in the playoffs, but also contend for being the best team in LA. Let's start there first. Then it was a good move. But to your point though, too, I don't know how long Russell stays in residency in LA.
Yeah, they if they trot out on opening night, Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, I can't wait until that first moment where somebody met. I just can't
we need
wait.
Training camp. If they go into training camp together, that's what we need to start.
Because you know what, too? What's going to happen is they're going to do 5-on-5s, and you know Russell Westbrook is petty, Patrick Beverly is petty, and petty is as petty does. Them two going to go at it like Jimmy Butler against him in the third strings against Cat, Wiggins, and them players in Minnesota. So I want to see it for personal reasons. I hope that it happens because if I'm a professional basketball team, I'm not trading for Russell Westbrook. Why? Like I have to get value for that. 27 and 29 first round draft picks. I don't even know what those are. That's like 7-8 years from now. I'm not doing that. So yeah, give me those two. I got to see it. I got to see it. I got to see it at least one time, just for me, not for nobody, just for me. I got to see that one time. I got to see them fight. So, all right, fellas, we can go right into, speaking of point guards, we can go right into the top 10 list. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going based on ESPN's point guards like positions. And so on their website, they have the players listed at their primary position. And if they are a point guard, they are eligible for this list. Some teams have more than one point guards playing. Some teams, they have just one. So I can actually start us off.
Okay. So like,
go ahead.
No. Hell no. You're going to start. However, I think it should be like, you give your 2 honorable mentions. I give mine.
Okay.
And then I'll pick up, I'll do my 10 through 6, and then 2, then you. And then 5 through 1, start with 2, and then you, then me.
Okay, so we're going to do honorable mentions and then go around then 10 through 6 and then go around. And, okay, cool. That's cool with me. So I'll do my 2 honorable mentions first. Then the first one, I feel like this player is going to have a tremendous leap this year. The team is very young, but I feel like the organization has stability. They've had stability for years. This is a championship franchise, gold standard franchise. Give me Cunningham as an honorable mention point guard that can potentially be a top 10 point guard next year. And so I looked at his stats to end the season because he started off very, very slow. People were like, is he even worth the number 1 pick? He's trash. To their credit, he did shoot terrible. He was turning the ball over a lot. He still did turn over the ball a lot. But when you're a first-year point guard in the league where the game is faster, and you got way better athletes, you're gonna turn the ball over. So my hope is that at some point he gets to the game slows down for him to where he's making less turnovers. But that last month of the season, 23 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 1.4 steals, 1 block per game. I mean, give me that all day long. Give me Kate Cunningham as an honorable mention. You get Jaden Ivey, Jaylen Durant. These other players are older for next year. They got a good coach. So yeah, give me Kate Cunningham. My other one is he actually got traded mid-season last year. Tyrese Halliburton. Y'all, I don't know if y'all know, this man shoots 40% from 3 every year. and that's on the ball, meaning he's catch and shoot and off the dribble, making 40% from 3. He averaged 10 assists per game when he got to the Pacers. So again, you shooting 40% from 3, 10 assists. He's a potential 40, 50, 90 candidate. 40% from 3, 50% from the field, 90% from the free throw line, shot about 84% from the free throw line. Tall guard, smooth game. Whenever they get rid of Buddy and get rid of Miles Turner, he will have the keys to that franchise. And I think he wants to be in Sacramento. What player you know wants to be in Sacramento? That lets me know he got dog mentality. And so for him to have a chip on his shoulder in Indiana, already a solid player, Tyrese Halliburton, I think he can be a top 10 point guard going into the next season after this one. That's my honorable mention.
All right, cool. Base of my list. My list is based upon what happened last season, what I felt were the off-season moves and transactions, and then going into next season, possible expectations. Honorable mention, I completely agree with Halliburton, man. The Pacers literally gave away their best player in Sabonis, and I think they were saying that as in terms of Sabonis went to the Kings and they got Halliburton back, and they knew what of a gem Halliburton would be. But he's just shown a lot of composure there in Indianapolis. And I really hope better for them. The trade goes through Russell Westbrook, and that's a buyout, I hope. Let Halliburton have the keys, because I think he's shown that he can lead a team with some support, right? Of course, no one can run a team by themselves. Few people think they can, but I think Halliburton agreed with that. My other honorable mention, which again is crazy, I got some young guys, is Tyrese Maxi. Maxi to me is honorable mention. And he's like, when I say at that top 10, he's
he there.
At the top 10. Because and to me, it was what he's done when James Harden was slacking, when Joel Embiid was not there. He picked up that. He got in James Harden's ass about how they play. And so, dog, yes, defensively, you don't want to go against him. Offensively, he's learning to score from different positions on the court and learning how to play with James Harden and Joel Embiid to the point where, man, he's really, really, really going to be top 10 material this upcoming season, because I believe in Philadelphia having this mentality that they need a championship. And so I think he's going to try to elevate his game again from where it was already at this past season. So again, Halliburton and Maxi for me for honorable mention.
So for my honorable mentions, for one, of course, I had to throw it out there. If Ben Simmons plays, y'all, he is ranked by ESPN as a point guard. You gotta throw him in the top 10, and he won't be 10. People forget what this guy is and what he can do. We may see the situations of him passing up the layups in the playoffs and not shooting, whatever. That's cool. But what he does do, he's great facilitator, vision out of this world. He's great at finishing around when he decides to go well with it. He's a pretty good rebounder. But what I envision for the Nets, which is crazy because I think he'll be played at center a lot this season, and I think that'll be a part of their best lineup with him as center and KD at the 4. So I think with his kind of vision of getting a rebound and go, he could average a triple-double.
I like that.
He could average a triple-double. This is not just me because I'm a Ben Simmons fan. With the body of that style of play, that up and down go, he can average a triple-double. So top 10 material easily. Second player would be my cousin, Lamelo Ball. I don't have him in my top 10. because I base my top 10 based on team record and, of course, the stats kind of going into it as well. I don't have the Hornets making the playoffs, but y'all know me and how I love my third-year point guards. If you don't know, I did a whole spiel last year about how third-year point guards are. That's when you know what kind of player they are. We saw that in last year and with Ja Morant. We seen it in Chris Paul career, the Allen Iverson, any point guard that you could really look up. That third year is when they took off. So I can imagine LaMelo, because they won't have the Miles Bridges there. That's 20 points gone. So you're going to need to score up a little bit. So LaMelo could easily average about 25 points a game. Had 7.5 assists a game. Could probably keep it the same. That's sneaky top 10 material for sure. But I don't think the Hornets make the playoffs this year, so I can't have him in my top 10.
Fair enough. I didn't mention how I guess I categorize my top 10. Of course, I go based on what happened last year, but also how I project them to grow based on free agency, based on trades, and then just based on what I would like out of a point guard. And so for me, a point guard is somebody that can distribute the ball, doesn't have to do it all the time, but I need at least 5 assists per game. Like I need you to at least account for 10 other points aside from the own points that you get. So if you can get like 5, 6 assists, then to me, you're a decent enough point guard for the position. So we can go right into my 10 through 6. And I'll start off. Two talked about him, Ben Simmons. I got Ben Simmons at 10 because I feel like he's going to play. I feel like he has to play this year. He got his money from Philly, from that settlement. Kevin Durant is going to play. Kyrie is going to play. And right now it's all about maximizing your value as a point guard, because at some point Ben is going to want to get paid again. He's being paid right now, but you got to play to get paid. So I had Ben Simmons there. A walking mismatch on offense, as long as he ain't shooting threes. You get him in the post. Like Ben Simmons is one of the best post players in the game. Defense, I mean, we already know he's a DPOY type of player. He can get steals, he can get blocks, he can get rebounds. We don't question his facilitating, we don't question his finishing, we don't question his post moves. The only thing we question is the one thing, and that is shooting. You can learn how to shoot, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Kidd could not shoot for most of his career. When he got to Dallas that second time, that man was shooting. Like that man was pulling up threes like it was nobody's business. So give me Ben.
It's hard too.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. But yeah, I got Ben Simmons at 10. Number 9, I got Drew Holiday, the best defensive point guard in the league. I mean, he can guard literally 1 through 5, and he will give you nightmares. I don't know if y'all remember the NBA Finals where this man snatched the ball from, I don't know if it was Chris Paul, Devin Booker, but he snatched the ball from somebody. Like that man, he see ball, he attack ball, get ball. That's what he do. He can give you 20 points a game, 7 assists, and like I said, guard the best player on the floor. That's top 10 material in my opinion. Number 8, I got Ben Simmons' teammate, Kyrie Irving. One of the most gifted scorers in the game. He still had above 5 assists. So to me, again, still a point guard. I think Kyrie this year is going to be motivated. I think after all the hoopla and we get to just play basketball. And the one thing I like about Kyrie, Kevin Durant, is that these two, even no matter what happens off the court, when they get on the court, it's all about ball. They just hoop. So I'll take Kyrie at number 8. Number 7, I got Darius Garland. He in his 3rd year, as Took mentioned, the man exploded for like 24 points a game. One thing that I question about Darius Garland that I will hope to see this year is can he be that dude when everybody else is hurt? And we saw that a little bit where he didn't really get to carry Cleveland like that. But I'm not gonna ding him points for that. I mean, I still think he's a dog, he's a legit player. But I want to see him when it's on him, like it was on Ja Morant at some point, it was on Trey Young at some point. I want to see Darius Garland take that next step to being a top 5-ish point guard for this season. And I think he will, honestly. I think he has it in him. So that was number 7. Number 6, my last one. Damian Lillard. I think we forgot about Damian Lillard. He has Jeremy Grant now. Anthony Simons got paid. So yeah, with Damian Lillard, the team got better. Like I said, they had Grant. I forgot they signed Joe Ingles, Gary Payton, who came over from the Warriors. So you literally got a dog leading more dogs with Portland, and I think that Damian's gonna remind us of who the hell he is. He set out literally the entire year last year. And the man is, it's Dame Lillard. Like this dude, we don't question anything about Dame Lillard at all. Like he's that dude. And if I'm him, I got paid $66 million a year. Play some damn basketball this year. So to recap, Ben Simmons at 10, Jrue Holiday at 9, Kyrie at 8, Darius Garland at 7, and Dame at 6.
All right, my apologies, gentlemen. So start out with number 10, work my way up. Again, going into next season, a player that I think has a lot to prove, but also last season, showed a lot of worth too. And that person to me for number 10 is Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry, again, we mentioned Miami really having a slow start and was in the playoffs, right? Then Bam was out, Jimmy was out at different times. Kyle Lowry led this team. And I think to the point that you talked about earlier, being remotivated, he heard those rumors about how fat he was. And so I think going into next season, he's got a lot to prove. Did he show up in the playoffs like he should have? No. But we all know that Kyle Lowry is better with away games than home games. And I look forward to him still leading the team. And like I said, I have him at number 10.
I appreciate that, Sheedy. I appreciate that. Like I've been those.
I don't appreciate this. I don't appreciate this. I
do. I've been the biggest Kyle Lowry fan since he stepped foot over here in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? I've always called him top 10 Larry. So you keeping it.
I got you. I did. And the other thing about Kyle Lowry, he makes timely plays.
Right.
Whether it's getting those charges or an assist, or even he may score 12 points, but 6 of those points came in very, very tough moments. So I got Kyle Lowry at 10. At 9, I have Mr. Garland here at Cleveland. I think to the point you made already, Savage, it's time for the ascension, 3rd year. Them understanding he's got the keys, him, Evan Mobley, as well to lead that Cleveland Cavaliers team. I think we'll be hungry to at least contend for the playoffs, especially with a healthy roster. Regardless if they get a veteran point guard or not, Darius Garland proved, 1, he's an all-star, and 2, that he can play this game of basketball at a high level. That is 10, 9, 8. I went to Brooklyn, and if this man plays at least 70 games, he's a top 10 player, and that's Kyrie Irving. Offensively gifted. The man brings a yo-yo to work every day with how he keeps the ball on the string, can score when need be. Don't let his jersey be untucked because that's a totally different scene. And he is in a prove-it deal, so to speak, right now. It's his last season with Brooklyn or another team, right? But this is the final year. And so I believe he'll make a lot of noise. And there's not a lot of noise about COVID now. So let's see, to you guys' point earlier about shut up and play ball, let's shut up and play some basketball. Speaking of shut up and playing some ball, number 7, I got Jrue Holiday. Man makes about $40 million a season. Can play, I agree, 1 through 5 in regards to defense. He is always going to take the hardest assignment as a guard on whoever it may be. And that is time in and time out. And that's very hard to see a point guard take this assignment on very early every game. And he's very strong. Like he's stocky in the paint. He can give you buckets down low too. But it's his defensive prowess that gives me him at 6. And I think, I said this before, I think the Bucks are one of those teams that are still slept on. But they didn't pay that man $40 million a season for no reason. And he shows up in the playoffs when necessary. And number 6, to me, again, going into next season, proving, right? And this, I believe, will be Mr. 6-time All-Star himself, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has now, to your point, Savage, a team around him, a big that can get his own bucket. Still got Anthony Simons there as well. I think you may have mentioned or may not have mentioned. But they have a great lineup. But Dame commands so much respect the moment he gets the ball. It's unreal. And so when you talk about walking buckets, Damian Lillard has been one for more than a few years and has proven that time and time again that he is one of the more elite point guards when he decides to play at full. So when he can't play at full season. So again, my 6 through 10, Damian Lillard, Jrue Holiday, Kyrie Irving, Darius Garland, and top 10, Kyle Lowry.
My God, I can appreciate it. Because it's kind of weird. I actually don't have Kyle Lowry in my top 10.
That's how
Right
you
now.
know. That's how you know, ladies and gentlemen, that Kyle Lowry is not a top 10 point guard. But
No,
go ahead.
we'll see. We'll see. The fact that Sheedy can be a believer for me, because sometimes you got to lean on your brother for support.
Nah,
And
she acting weird because student loans being canceled. That's what it is. Kyle Lowry and Kyle Lowry top 10 student loans being canceled. That's what's going on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I feel it. He in a good mood. I feel it, man. I feel it. Well, I appreciate it, man. Just stay in good spirits. You know what I'm saying? But as far as 30-year point guards go, starting out with my top 10, starting with number 10, Tyrese Maxi. He's, I think, going to be one of the more consistent players next year, look a lot more comfortable. I think he can average around 20 points a game. That'll be 3 points more than last year. Get around 20 points, 5 assists. And, you know, the Sixers top 3 team, I think we look at Tyrese Maxi a different way, especially, you know, I think he'll play around 70 games. Like, consistency is key. That's what we say. And I think that's what he'll do next year and provide those Sixers with those points that's going to be needed, because James Harden is going to be a little older. You know, Embiid, hopefully he can stay around and stick around, but I know Tyrese Maxey, he'll be there. Number 9, shout out to y'all for including Drew Holiday in y'all list. The most underrated player in the whole entire NBA. Don't give him respect due. Can do it all, in my opinion, and he is a champion for a reason. The Bucks is there, that they got that tenacity on defense, and he's a big reason why. That's not to forget, he averaged 18 points a game too. Got to be top 10. Number 8, Darius Garland. Same reason y'all did. I don't have to go into it. Y'all said everything that I need to say about Darius Garland. Definitely, if he can step up his points, can he do it all? Can he be healthy throughout the season, especially when everybody else go down? Can you step up, Savage, like you said? Can you ascend the top 5? It'd be fun to see if he can answer that, especially with the team giving him the keys and saying go, because they didn't re-sign Colin Sexton for a reason, I guess, at this point. So I think you do get the keys to the franchise of Garland. He got to go, and let's see what he do. Number 7, I actually got Chris Paul. He may be in y'all's top 5, but Chris Paul, if you go look at his numbers, he averaged the most assists in the league at 10 assists, but he averaged 15 points a game, and that's his lowest, I believe, since his rookie year. So we do see somewhat of a decline in Chris Paul, but you know, maybe he averaged more, maybe he averaged less, because now you got to give Aiden the ball more now. So I mean, that's what, 15 and 10. That's, you know, top 7 numbers. But let me see. Number 6, Damian Lillard. Revenge season. It's his time. You know, Damian Lillard is that guy. Nice rounded team. Like, I do got them in the playoffs to play in at least. And Dame was going to be a big part of that. He averaged 24 points in 29 games last season. That's not Dame. We all know that. But he was able to get his body right, get his mind right, and come in with, like I said, a more rounded team. So I'm expecting Dame to have around 28, 29 a game as well. So that's my 6. Well, I guess
6 to 10.
Yeah, 6 to 10.
I'm not mad at Maxi being top 10 on your list too, because I feel like Maxi, he had games where he was like, he had one game in the playoffs, he like 30-something points, and he was just working these dudes, man. So I'm not mad at that. I'm wondering what your top 5 looks like with Chris Paul not in the top 5. I'm curious.
So you're saying he should go next? Oh, okay. I hear it.
I mean, he can go if he wants to, or we can go to me since
let's go. I'm here. We here. Y'all had Kyrie Irving in y'all bottom 5, which, you know what I'm saying, I know why I can respect it. But if Kyrie Irving comes and performs, mind you, he did win the games he played. He averaged, what was it? I got the number, 27, 28 points a game. That was 4th in the league. He was putting the ball in there. Like, and let's not forget that he was born to dribble the basketball. There's no way in hell, like, I ain't got to go deal with this COVID bullshit. I ain't got to do this. I'm here. We made it. Like, it's time to play basketball. And I think that regardless of if Kyrie Irving were to leave, or you heard it here first, retire, this will be his last year. And we got to appreciate the greatness that Kyrie Irving is, which is a top 5 point guard in this league. And I think he'll put up top 5 numbers with the Nets winning, of course. So that's my 5th. Number 4, Trey Young. Gotta put Trey Young in there. Average 28 points a game, 9.5 assists. Like, that's 3rd in the league. Like, one of those are gonna drop. I don't expect both of those to drop, but if I was a better man, I put Trey Young averaging 30 points a game next season. I can say that assists a drop, but you got somebody that's going to be looking for you. I told y'all it's going to be crucial. It's going to be fun watching Jonte Murray and Trey Young. Also, people, Jonte Murray would have been in my top 10, but ESPN got him on some bullshit, shooting guard, whatever. But Trey Young, like I said, I think he can average 30 points a game. That's will be my top 4. Top 3, my guy Ja Morant, Memphis Man himself. We know what he can do. I ain't got to go too much and far, but Mr. Highlight Factory himself will have 28, 29 games on national TV this year. He's going to show the hell out. And this is his time. He said, a couple years ago, he was top 3, top 5 point guard?
Top 5.
And we kind of, top 5.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of was like, okay, we can see it. And then we saw it, and now it's here. And now we're saying that Ja Morant is a top 3, or for me, for sure. Can't wait to see all this. But me, for sure, Ja Morant's a top 3 point guard. We'll be top 2, but I don't understand how Luka Doncic win games. Luka is that guy. If you ask me earlier who I might have for MVP, it may be Luka, but he's special. He averaged the same amount of points as Trey Young, 28 points a game. We saw what he did in the playoffs. Luka is that guy. He was on the cover of 2K, and now that curse is broken, so screw that curse. He's doing his thing. Dallas is going to have a much better team. He may average 30 next season, but Luka is that guy. Of course, got to give him props. But number 1, it's his time, Mr. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter to ever touch the basketball. That's my number 1. It's his time. He may play 50, 60 games, cool, but he going to put up 30 at least. Like, the Warriors are going to be there. The Warriors are going to do that thing. The Warriors are going to finish top 2, top 3, in the Western Conference. But this is Steph Curry's time. It'll be crazy for me not to have him, especially coming off this Finals MVP run, as not number 1. Of course, I'm a bandwagon Warriors fan, so he got to be number 1 for me. So, yeah, if I need to redo my top 10, starting at 10, Tyrese Maxi, Drew Holiday, Darius Garland, Chris Paul, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Trey Young, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and the guy Steph Curry.
I go next.
Go ahead, Sam.
I go next. So I do have Chris Paul in my top 5, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point guard himself. I will not disrespect Chris Paul, no matter how many people hate him. When God said, "I'm gonna make a point guard," He said, "I'm gonna make him 6 feet tall. I'm gonna make him into a bulldog. I'm gonna make him so gifted at passing the ball, getting to his spots, that mid-range area where he goes around the screen. He got the guy on his back, on his hip, and shoot that fading jumper. I'm gonna do that with Chris Paul, because 10 assists a game, 15 points. Like, for him, it ain't about the points. It's not about the point. It's more about the impact. The Suns were the number 1 team in the West, due in part because of Chris Paul. Every organization that Chris Paul touches turns to gold. The New Orleans Hornets, back when they were the Hornets, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, should have been the Los Angeles Lakers, but rest in peace, David Stern, basketball reasons. And now the Phoenix Suns, Tuke's now hometown. Chris Paul.
Well, I can't wait to go to a game. I can't wait.
Chris Paul is old reliable. He's that dog that you know is the best dog ever. Even if he getting old, you still take care of him, you still feed him. He's still gonna bark when the mailman comes to your door. Chris Paul is a top 5 point guard until he says, "You know what, I'm done with basketball." So give me Chris Paul, number 5. Number 4, I got Trey Young. Tuke talked about how his points per game could go up. I actually think he could very easily lead the league in scoring this year, because he's going to be off the ball with DeJounte Murray. At minimum, he's going to be top 3 in scoring. We know that much. He had the highest player efficiency rating amongst all point guards. That lets me know that when the ball goes up, it's going in. It one way or another is going in. I think I'm still kind of iffy about the potential next to Murray long term. I don't know. I feel like the numbers say one thing, but I got to see it on the court to believe it.
I got to see a transition to winning basketball.
Right. Yeah. I got to see it to believe it. And I hope it does work well. I like Trey Young. I like DeJounte Murray. I got to see it on the court. And I think that he will be unlocked playing next to Murray, who is not a point guard, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. But yeah.
Whatever.
But I got Trey Young at 4. At 3, I got Demetrius Jamel Morant. Mr. Get the Grizzlies some national TV games himself, get us on Christmas, box office. He is going to have a lot on his shoulders early on this season with Jaren Jackson Jr. out. And I think what's probably going to happen is he's going to inflate his numbers tremendously. And we'll get into his sidekick, Desmond Bane, maybe next episode. We'll see. But Ja Morant, I mean, if Ja Morant's healthy, he cannot be stopped. Like, he literally cannot be stopped. I've seen a lot of creative finishers at the rim. Ja Morant is ridiculous. I mean, Kyrie's ridiculous. Ja Morant is just about up there with Kyrie in terms of like finishing at the rim, above the rim, below the rim, however you want to do it. So yeah, I mentioned it last episode with the standings. The season go 1 or 2 ways, but if the Grizzlies are a top 4 team in the West, it'll be because of Ja Morant. So I got Ja Morant at 3. At 2, Luka Magic, 28, 9, and 9 last year. Western Conference Finals. He's only 23 years old, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't in his prime. That's the scary part about Luka. He's not athletic. He's not fast. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if y'all seen Larry Bird highlights. Larry Bird is not athletic, not fast. The man gets to his spots. He manipulates the game so well that it doesn't matter. The game is going to age like fine wine. He will be at the top of this list for his entire career, unless injuries happen, which I don't think will happen because he don't move fast. He don't cut hard. But the man gets to his spots. He manipulates the game well. He can shoot in your face, in your whole team's face. He can rebound, assist, all those things. And I even get into the team around him, how Dallas has improved the team. They still got Bullock, they still got Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Hardaway. They drafted Jaden Hardy. I don't know how they got Jaden Hardy. They drafted Jaden Hardy. Kleber.
Magic.
Right. Christian Wood. Like they just got an overall good team around him. And I said it early. I said last episode, this is a sneaky finals team. This is a very sneaky finals team. This team could easily make the finals and give teams problems. Lord knows they give the Grizzlies problems. So yeah, I got Luka at 2. Number 1, I got Wardell, Stephen Curry. I mean, what else I'm gonna say about Steph Curry that ain't already been said? Finals MVP, greatest shooter of all time. The team literally did not change from last year, aside from losing that one Toscano dude to the Lakers, who I ain't never seen in my life play in the game. Steph Curry until further notice. So that's my top 5. Going back to my top 10, I got Ben Simmons at 10. Drew Holiday at 9, Kyrie at 8, Garland at 7, Lillard at 6, Chris Paul at 5, Trey at 4, Ja at 3, Luka at 2, and Steph Curry at 1.
Well, I got to bring it on home here. Damn, that's why I didn't want to go last. I wanted to go
Come on,
second. So at number 5, I believe that this player will have an even bigger of a breakout season this season. That's Trey Young. That's why we've all mentioned him in our top 5. He is number 5 for me. I agree with you, Savage. I think his points will go up because he will be more off ball. Even though Murray's listed as a shooting guard, he's more of a combo guard, so to speak. They don't have a category for that yet. But he's not gonna always get that double team respect that he's always had, or always the best player on him defensively. And so I think he'll be able to manipulate himself into more of a 30-point, per game season. And we'll see where he goes from there. But if the Hawks are to make the playoffs, like I said, they make the playoffs, then Trey Young gonna have to be a top 10, preferably a top 5 player right now. Number 4 is Caldwell. He's not an honorable mention. He's not below 6. I got him at 4. And the reason why I have him at 4 is exactly kind of what you alluded to, Savage. I think in the beginning of the season, he's going to be putting a lot on his plate. That he's going to need to figure some things out. Has this team won without, Triple L? Yes, of course they have. But now it's like that pressure wasn't there back when they were doing it, right? This wasn't a top 3 team, you know what I mean? And now coming off of the season that they just had, spotlight is on you, Ja, and we're going to have to perform. And I think there may be some times where he leaps back just a smidgen. But when you're talking about finishing at the cup, Savage, a lot of his game winners were at the cup. That man finds a way to get the ball, he also finds a way to motivate his team, which is why I got him at number 4. Number 3, ironically, CP3. CP3 is on this list. I'm glad you gave the 15 and 10 stats. I'm glad we talked about the pick and roll. CP3 is the reason why another player may make our list next week a little bit higher than maybe he should. You're talking about the number 1 team in the league last season from start to finish. It was led by Chris Paul, unless he's got an injury, and that's his only downfall to me, is he's injury prone. Sometimes can be a defensive liability, but not really. When you're talking about a floor general, Chris Paul is that guy. Will put people in places. Again, will make MVP type of runs for himself. But where CP3 has gone, you've already mentioned, has been gold, to the point where, like, you can even think about how good SGA has improved with the tutelage of CP3. You can think about how Devin Booker has improved with the tutelage of CP3. And there's other players like Ayton got paid. Again, restricted because the Pacers added him some money, but we all know how we feel about him. We'll keep it right where it's at. Chris Paul is number 3 on my list. Top 2. Number 2 for me is Steph Curry. Steph Curry has been an MVP candidate, even towards the end of the bubble and transitioning there for at least 4 to 5 years, has made his way in that category, which means who I leave at 1 is Luka as the best point guard in the league. And let me just say why. If you were to switch Luka and Steph Curry, do the Mavericks go as far as they did? I don't believe so. And so that is where I split my hairs. And do I believe that the Warriors still make a run? Yeah, I actually do. And I don't discredit what Luka has done for the Mavericks, and I don't discredit what the Warriors have gotten since Steph Curry. I just think going into the next season, he's slimmed down some more. He's got someone else that can spread the floor with him. There's no more conversation about him or Jaylen Brunson, so to speak, or if Jaylen Brunson is going to stay. Less distractions. So I think Luka will start entering, to your point, his prime. And maybe not this season, but maybe in a few seasons. But Luka Magic is my number 1 point guard this season. But that does not discredit how great of a player, not even just a great player right now, but a monumental player that Steph Curry is and forever will be. So let me just make sure I recap my top 10 before I take these hard-hitting questions that are coming my way. 10 was Lowry, another question. 9, Garland. 8, Irving. 8, 7, Holiday. 6, Lillard. 5, Trey Young. 4, Ja Moran. CP3 at 3, Steph Curry at 2, and I got Luka at 1.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, I thought you were. I thought Took was the one that was smoking when you started with Kyle Lowry at 10. You know. Man, I'm lost for words. Luka over. I mean, so I'll say this about Luka. Luka Doncic has the privilege of being my most viewed bootleg breakdown. And that was, I believe, the game winner over the Clippers, where Kawhi Leonard didn't guard Luka and they put Reggie Jackson on him. And I was like, why would you put Reggie Jackson on a cold ass white boy? What are we doing here? I do think that Luka has the potential to reach that number 1 position based on the fact that he will be an MVP candidate for this upcoming season. However, based on the top 10 list, I do not think the Mavericks are going to be better than the Warriors, at least records wise. We'll see what happens when they get to a matchup in the playoffs this year, because the team is a little bit different with Christian Wood being playing center. And the Mavericks being healthy, but I'm not mad at it, but I just can't disrespect Wardell Stephen Curry by putting him at 2 after I saw what he did to every team in the playoffs, putting them to sleep with the night. So I'm actually not even mad at Chris Paul at 3, because Chris Paul's impact is so good. Like it's so good that you just can't. He has to be in the top 5 some kind of way. But I don't want to attack your list completely, Sheedy. So if y'all got beef on my list, you know, I got Ben Simmons at 10. I got 2 Brooklyn Net point guards who may or may not play this season. So hey, if y'all got questions for me, I'm with it.
No, I'll let you talk first. I just did I talk.
Okay. I just it's weird because I kind of get what he's saying about Luka. You know what I'm saying? Like if you would have asked me name my MVP right now, it'll be Luka Doncic, honestly. So that would mean I would have to some kind of way put Luka over Steph Curry. So, I mean, I kind of get it for me being, you know, the Steph Curry man, for me saying Steph Curry is my number one. I get it. But it's just on a point guard list right now after coming from winning the championship. Who's to say Steph Curry won't go for MVP as well? So, you know what I'm saying? If you would have asked me the bet man, I guess I'll say Luka because he's on a worse team. So if he would have be winning MVP, that means Dallas would be number 2, which they could possibly be. But you get into them playoffs, ain't no way in hell I'm putting that over Steph Curry. Oh, no way. So regular season, I can go Luka play more games than Steph. I get it. But playoffs, that's a whole different list.
Yeah, I mean, teach his own. To your point, like if it's hard for anyone to say if that is your MVP candidate, they must be the number one at their position. They got to be. You know, the years when Giannis was, you know, MVP, he had to be the best power forward to win the MVP and such other players. But you know, Luka's here. Again, not discrediting more. It was like splitting hairs that I don't have on top of my head. However, I just really felt like I'm going to give it to Luka right now. But again, look back through the MVP rankings for the years, and Steph Curry has always been, I'm not even going to say top 5, I'll give you top 10 for many of seasons, even thinking about their run that they tried to make, you know, before the bubble, right? Steph Curry was like, with him not on the floor, the Warriors aren't even pretty much in the playing scenario like they were. But again, it's not about that year, it's about last year, finals MVP, put everyone to sleep as well. But again, going into next year, I think Luka has more to prove than Steph. And hence my decision for Luka at number 1. And to your point, you can have 2 point guards, because I almost went somewhere down deep in Florida to get another point guard, but I was like, nah, that means I have to take one off.
Who?
You know who's ready? You know who's ready at the point guard?
Who?
Tyler Hero.
Top 10. I mean, so he is a
Sixth
point
man
guard
of the year.
He's a point guard off the bench. So yeah.
Nah,
I don't know about top 10.
Sucks. What?
Honorable mention.
Tyler Hero's a shooting guard. Come on, yes, man.
Nah, he a point guard. He a point guard.
He's really a point guard.
He runs point. But
I thought Hero was a shooter. He's a shooting guard. Man.
He's a shooter that can play point.
I get it. I got it. But
So Steph Curry's a shooter, right?
I mean, that's true.
Look, Nikola Jokic is a point guard.
Jokic is a point guard, if you ask me.
So,
I got some questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so a few players we didn't mention.
I was getting there. I was getting there.
Okay, good. And I'm gonna come right off the bat. Jamal Murray, to me, is not going to be a top 10 point guard next season. Again, proving, yes, he may get in that honorable mention category later on, but I think him finding himself back in the game of basketball is going to take some time. And so I did not have him, nor did anyone else have him on their list. And there's one other player that I believe, and this might be a shock, that I believe can ascend back up to honorable mention, but I don't believe he'll be a top 10 point guard because he does not have to be. And that player is going to be, oh God, I hate to say this, John Wall. John Wall does not need to be a top 10 point guard because he has 2 players that are better than him. However, he's not going to have the ball as much. He's going to score at a clip, and he's going to defend the 3rd worst player or 3rd best player on the team. His stats are going to look pretty good this upcoming season. But 2 players that I know for sure we didn't mention. I'm sure there's others that you're about to allude to, Satch.
John Wall. Oh my God. we didn't mention Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. He played point guard last year for Boston, and Boston did turn around their fortunes with him playing point guard. They eventually did get rid of Kemba Walker. I don't know if that was before last season, during last season, whatever. But Marcus Smart, he said it himself that he's a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. He's not a combo guard, not an off-ball guard. Thoughts on Marcus Smart not making the list?
He really don't do too much for me offensively the way other players do. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, like most of our top 10 average 10 points outside of Chris Paul, don't average 20 points a game. Can Marcus Smart average 20 points a game consistently? Is he how many assists is he gonna average? You know what I'm saying? I respect his defense for sure. But when you talk top 10 point guard, it's like I got to see more out of him. I got to see more progression offensively for me to consider him like a top 10 point guard.
And that's why I favor Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday's better defender than Marcus Smart, honestly. Like
Drew Holiday did it. Drew Holiday he figured out how to average 18 a game, but still defense first. I think Marcus Smart can do that, but he gotta get there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Fred Van Vliet is listed at. I think he's listed at a point guard. I didn't include Fred Van Vliet because I think about point guard qualities. Now, Fred Van Vliet is a gifted scorer, all-star last year, underrated defensive player. Like the man plays, he can sit in that chair. I don't think he'll be able to replicate his all-star season again next year because I think it'll be so many more better guards. Especially even with like DeJounte Murray coming over from San Antonio. I think he has potential to be an all-star as well too. One guy that I wanted to mention, and I actually had him there until I was like, I can't do it based on the fact that he cannot stay healthy. And that's Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball has the potential to be a top 10 point guard if he plays basketball, but he gets hurt entirely too much. He only played like 50-ish games the past couple of years, like total like 50 games per year. And I'm like, he don't stay long. Like when he plays, Chicago is a night and day team. They are much better. When he doesn't play, I mean, one, he don't play, so best ability is availability, and Chicago's not as good. So that lets me know that you have an impact on that team. But he wore a knee sleeve in college for a reason because he constantly has knee issues. And at this point, I think it's just degenerative now. So Lonzo Ball, I want to put him there. And I know we get into a lot of different other point guards because we mentioned them earlier, but that was part of my struggle was like, do I think he's going to play 70 games next year? I don't, because at some point it's going to hurt. He's going to get hurt and he won't be able to play. But when he does play, he's a top 10 talent, in my opinion. Defense, rebounding, assisting. Nobody talking about Lonzo jump shot, ladies and gentlemen. That first year, they was getting on him, but the man is wet from three. So Lonzo Ball was another person that I had an internal struggle with adding to the list.
Yeah, I want to address the Marcus Smart situation. I had Marcus Smart at least as an honorable mention, but I kind of like tweaked him out because you have to give respect to the Defensive Player of the Year. Regardless, if I agree, I think Jay Rue plays better on ball and off ball defense than Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart just does a lot of talking that gets him promoted, so to speak, to these analysts. Like Tuba said, these analysts will, pump him up a little bit more than what he needs to. However, if he was a top 10 point guard, the Celtics wouldn't be trading for Malcolm
Brogdon. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's what left me to say no, not even for an honorable mention, because they didn't trade anyone to back up Jason Tatum. They didn't trade anyone to back up Jaylen Brown.
That's a good point,
so to speak. So to me, that's why I left him off. And it goes crazy into I think he may average 12 points, maybe like 4.5 assists. That's great. But again, if you're the best point guard, you're a top 10 point guard, I'm not trading to get someone else to back you up. I'm going to get a backup if need be, but I'm not going to trade those pieces that they did and get Malcolm Brogdon, who to me can start, and many other teams won't actually get that privilege being with the Celtics, but doesn't mean he's not going to get time.
And it's weird because I think their best lineup as far as the Celtics go will include Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon on the court together.
Yep.
So, they may start, especially with Jaylen and Jason 3 and 4, and then you got Rob Williams at the center. Like, that's a great starting lineup, you ask me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. Like, that's why I said it's kind of weird for me to look at Smart as a point guard. For sure. But I think talent-wise, and it's just fun to talk about De'Aaron Fox for me. Like I've been like
he was 1-2 for me. I was like, I don't know, Sacramento. I don't know.
Like, Sacramento, they not in the playoffs. They won't be in the playoffs. Maybe play-ins, maybe not. I'm pretty sure not. But
Hell
the talent,
no.
I mean, hell no. I mean,
Two.
Hey,
No. Before you go any further, there are 5 teams in that division, and they are the worst team in that division. They're not going to make even a play-in scenario, unfortunately. But I love De'Aaron Fox.
Say this. If you like hunger, if you like dog mentality, talent, he got it all. So definitely want to give a shout out to De'Aaron Fox. And one more, SGA, of course, averaging 25 points a game at this point. Crazy. Shout out to Shed, who got injured. Unfortunately, won't be able to play next season. So that hurts them as far as like trying to get better. But hey, man, they gonna get the homie, the baby KD. I think if they get them in better position to get baby KD.
Wembanyama, man. Y'all heard me earlier. Like Wembanyama, that dude can play basketball.
So if you get both of those two on the court together and then have SGA doing his thing, I mean, that 25 points a game would still look great. And still have everybody else going. That's his offense still. Like, hey.
Did they have him listed as a point guard or shoot guard on ESPN? Sure.
They got him as a point guard.
Okay.
Yeah, SGA is on shooting as a point guard.
Point guard. Okay.
I had him as well.
Okay. I didn't have him because of the record. I'm like, I need you to win some games, man. But he talent wise, like his numbers are ridiculous. It's like DeJounte Murray with the Spurs. It's just like the dude get rebounds, assists, and he gonna score on you without shooting too well from 3. That's a walking bucket. One person we did not mention was Jaylen Brunson. Sheedy, what's up? Like, he ain't top 10, man. For those of you who are not on YouTube, Sheedy done left.
And let me come on back.
This is the next episode, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Hey man, those spotlights MSG are gonna kill him. He's probably gonna start off decent for 10, 12 games.
Well, Thibodeau gonna run him to the ground. He'll give him about 40 minutes a game.
Exactly.
I got a theory. For whatever reason, people love the Brunson family. I think this is just a big pay for Jaylen Brunson. I don't think he's on the team next year, especially if you get Donovan Mitchell. I think you know what I'm saying. Thanks for being here, buddy. But ain't no way for me. For one, they won't be able to coexist. But for two, like you said, Sheedy, I don't think he's gonna be worth the money he's being paid. I mean, he was a good player, but he ate because of, you know what I'm saying, he took advantage of the moment for sure. But can he do that for a season? Nah. Otherwise, they won't be trying to bring Donnie Mitchell in.
Yeah, and to echo that point, Jaylen Brunson's contract is similar to another player that we mentioned a little bit earlier. Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons carried the Trailblazers last season. Was it the best record?
He so damn did. That man killed the Grizzlies.
Did he get them into the playoffs? No. Was he in the playoffs? No, they were not. Okay. But he's young, and he did what had to be done and got a similar contract. Jaylen Brunson, I think, is made at least maybe $10 million more than him. And I give me Anthony Simons over Jaylen Brunson. If you ask me, talking what was 6'5" with that wingspan like that? No. But Jaylen Brunson, it's a no-go. Have fun at MSG while you can. Eat the street food, brother. But ain't nobody retiring your jersey in New York either, brother. So step aside.
They got Brunson listed as 6'1". That man about 5'11". And what's crazy, I don't know why. I don't know why the Knicks continue to trade for undersized Dallas Mavericks. Like, they traded for Dennis Smith Jr. a couple of years ago, thinking that he was that dude. And I'm sorry, J. Cole, like, Dennis Smith Jr. Is he in the league, man?
No, we're not for teams as we speak.
I don't know what Dennis Smith Jr. is, so I don't know why the Knicks traded for Jaylen Brunson. I tweeted out a couple weeks ago. I was like, I hope nobody overpay for Jaylen Brunson, thinking that he that dude when he good. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a solid player. He's not your lead guy, and they paint him as a lead guy. He is not that, in my opinion.
And that's the problem with the Knicks. The Knicks like those undersized point guards, even Kemba Walker, right? Bringing him back for 14 million seasons that they keep bringing him back. It's not working out. Y'all need a point guard that is not listed at 6'1", that is actually 6'2", 6'3", that can compete all the time. Because again, to your point earlier, Tom Thibodeau is going to play you for 40 plus minutes. Your body and that wear and tear at 6'1", at 5'10" is not going to cut it for that amount of time, man. I don't care how professional you are. So no, it's not.
You want to hear some? You want to hear some savage? Who I compare Jaylen Brunson to?
Who?
Damon Stoudemire.
Damon Stoudemire. Nah. Well, you know what though? Jaylen Brunson is a bucket. Damon Stoudemire was a bucket. He's a bucket. I mean, y'all know he a bucket, right? Too.
You know, hey, can we now disrespect the Mighty Mouse outside of, history that me and him may not have? I'm not gonna disrespect him, but he's somebody that did win Rookie of the Year. He had a couple great seasons, averaging what he averaged, and he did Mighty Mouse. He was his thing.
Yeah,
that's like people expecting All-Star, and he's gonna average. He's gonna do his thing, but I just thought that was the name you like hearing, man.
That's Damon Stoudemire is a lefty, so I rock with lefties, but Jaylen Brunson, I don't think he can tie Damon Stoudemire's shoes, but we'll see about that. Any closing remarks, gentlemen? We did top 10. Any closing remarks on our point guard list? We good? All right. So next week we got the shooting guards, man. So again, we're going based on ESPN's positions. So like I said, if a player wasn't a point guard, if they're not a small forward, they may be a shooting guard. But if you are good enough, you should be on one of these top 10 lists. We're going to do a couple of top 10 lists leading you all the way into the NBA regular season. So if you haven't already, go ahead and get subscribed to us on YouTube at 3, the number 3, The Hardaway. Like this video, comment, share it, do all that good stuff. If you are listening on a podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, make sure you subscribe there, get the notifications, and also leave a review if you can, man. We got 5 reviews, but ain't nobody actually left an actual, text review. So leave a review.
Talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us, man. We talk back. We ain't gonna kill you. Not too bad. But yeah, man. So next week we're doing the top 10 shooting guards. It should be a good one. This one was a great one. So stay safe, be blessed. Peace.